When you hear the sound of the bell, you know you're in the championship rounds with King Amin of Essex. And I'm here with the Women's Boxing Wednesday feature. Now, I know we haven't done one of these in a long time. I decided to slow it down, number one, because it's summer. I'm a family man. Family first over everything, even though you guys are my boxing family. There's lots of content. I've probably done at least 15 specific and individual features on who I believe are some of the top women's fighters today and a few from the past. So go ahead and check that out. Today, in the midst of all this great action, all right, we just had Inouye and Fulton. I'm talking the men's side of things. We just had that yesterday. What people are going to forget, sandwiched in between one of the greatest fights of the century and Spence Crawford, you got Seniesa Estrada defending her title. Okay. Um, Seniesa Estrada, again, I did a feature on her. She's the unified champion in the flyweight division. Very solid, undefeated East LA fighter. I love everything about her. Story with the dad. Um, Her opponent is a good opponent because I respect Argentine fighters, but I watched the footage on Shorty. She will be outclassed. Her name is Leonela Yudica. Leonela Yudica. Yeah, yeah, she's gonna be tough. She's tall, but Estrada's gonna figure that one out, and maybe that's where they figure it should be some sort of challenge. The reason why I'm bringing that up though is because it's not Estrada's fault. I don't want anybody to watch this fight and say, "Damn, Seniesa fighting pies." No, because I do got to put some of the onus, some of the responsibility, some of the blame on my girl, Yo Costa Valle, little cheeky, yeah. Um she's got the other two titles in the division. And, it's time for unification. And I think Shanice's on board. Quite frankly, if it came down to the A side, B side talk, we both got two belts. I mean, in reality, Shanisha is bringing more to the table. I think it's only a few of us that even have been recognizing what Yokasa's been doing over the years. So, hey, I think I'm going to put the onus on you, honey. You got to step up to the plate and make this unification happen. You've seen it all over the landscape, right? So be sure to check that out. That's Friday night on Top Rank. Again, sandwiched right in between all this great action, but we cannot forget about it. So let's talk some other news going on in women's boxing. I'm sure you guys may have heard already. Mikaela Mayer decided to skip the 135-pound division and move up to 140. I was a little bit disappointed. By the way, she looks great holding that weight very well. But I was a little bit disappointed, man, because I'm like, yo, I wanted her to do her thing at 135. It's just so wide open. Can't blame her though. She feels better at 140, puts her into scary territory because I'm a big fan of El Capo. All right, the boss, Chantelle Cameron, big fan of her. And quite frankly, I don't know if I want to see her at risk to losing because Mayer is a different beast than what I think some of the UK gals are going to be used to. Lots of body work, um, pressure, pressure, pressure. Um, yeah, man. The only one that comparably fights, I mean, that rough, I would say, is Natasha Jonas as far as rough to the body, pushing your opponent back and just digging, that kind of hard work style. Jonas is the only one in the UK that I see that could withstand that kind of pressure. I mean, she's definitely built for it. I'm not doubting my girl, Chantelle Cameron. I'm just saying. So here we are, Mikaela Mayer mixing it up, moving right to 140. Who knows? She may eventually land at 147, but yeah, the landscape is shifting. Now let's talk about a move a couple weeks back at this point that happened that shifted the landscape of women's boxing. Of course, the great. She's great now. And by the way, I'm still going to be beating the drum for Tony Harrison to become trainer of the year this year. Because in retrospect, when you look at the totality of her career, to come back and get the win over Leonardo DeTao, who is her real nemesis, like that, the one only one that's defeated her, that's a full circle type thing. Full circle type thing. And Tony Harrison deserves the credit. It almost doesn't matter what Bumgarner does this year. It will only be the icing on the cake, the sprinkles with the glitter and the sparklies. I mean, yeah. With that win, though, Bumgarner has introduced herself to number 6 on the women's pound for pound list. Now I know pound for pound lists are messy. And some of you guys probably don't even acknowledge the women's pound for pound list because we all know who's at the top. Yes, the quote Clarissa Shields. But I love that Bumgarner is number 6. And she will definitely move higher. Now let's talk about some of the gals ahead of her. Oh, Chantelle Cameron, right? Because she's undisputed. Katie Taylor, another undisputed, right? Amanda Serrano. So almost all of these gals ahead of Bumgarner are undisputed, except for Seniesa Estrada, so see how all this stuff is interconnected. But yeah, shout out to Alicia Bumgarner cracking that pound for pound list. And I just love everything about her team, man. I love the fact that it's her and Tony, and they got some good marketing people. She's in, GQ shorts online, and just, very popular fighter, and she deserves as such because the talent is all there. Now, um, we're waiting on the mandatory. I know that Savannah Marshall's doing a victory lap. You just got the straps. Salute to you with a very good win, but the clock is ticking. And Shadeja Green, she has a fight next week on the 5th. So we'll be reminded of the task that Savannah Marshall has in front of her once we get to see Patterson's own Shadeja Green. So lots of things happening in women's boxing and boxing in general. I'll probably do another video on Spence and Crawford just to get a little bit more into my personal perspective on the fighters and the outcome of the fight. But I'm getting back on the horse, y'all, and let's ride out. Had a good little run last week, but I got to get back to the business, right? And the business is women's boxing, because women's boxing is boxing. I'm King Amin of Essex. These are the championship rounds, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you guys soon.